You're a vegan, not an asshole. Simmer the f down.
No, it's good. Keep saying it, because the more fucks that come out, the more relaxed everybody gets.
Hi, I'm Nisha.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Dani.
And I'm Hannah. And this is
The Vegan View.
Cheers! So today we have the two brothers who are breaking down the walls of veganism. They're influencers, YouTubers, and new authors of the Vodka is Vegan book. Please welcome Matt and Phil Letton.
Yay.
What's up?
Thanks for coming.
Oh, dude, we're excited that you guys invited us on.
So we were talking, and just everything that you're about, everything we've read in this book is kind of like what we're all about and why we created the Vegan View, and just kind of like how to be a vegan and simmer down and not scare people away, and that like everyone has a little vegan in them if you're already against animal cruelty, essentially.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, the way we look at it is like, if you were to ask basically anyone, everyone's gonna say, confining a mother pig to create barely larger than her body is wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
So the way we look at it, most people are opposed to animal abuse, and if you're opposed to animal abuse, you're already 90% vegan. Your diet's just the last 10%. We don't like to look at it as like there's a line in the sand, like it's us against them. Like
Right.
we like to find common ground and work with people.
Yeah. Our whole vibe is that, like, if you're opposed to animal cruelty, you're already 90% vegan. Your diet's just the last 10%. And basically, if we look at everyone, because we came from a background where like we grew up eating meat 3 times a day.
Right.
And basically, we know that at the core of us, once we saw what was really going on, that's the way everyone feels. Like, animal cruelty is fucked up, and everyone sees it,
Right.
deep down inside. So it kind of comes out over time.
So, which one of you went vegan first, and how did it happen?
Yeah.
It was me.
It was
I
you.
did it. I stopped eating meat about 14 years ago. I went vegan 11 years ago.
Oh wow, you're
And
looking OG.
I'm an OG. I was doing it before everyone.
Cool.
I look at it now where, to me, it's becoming so normal. You have
Yeah.
celebrities, professional athletes going vegan in droves. You have billionaires like Richard Branson and Bill Gates who are funding companies like, investing in companies like Beyond Meat.
Right.
And they're like
Impossible.
funding, Impossible Foods. You even have the CEO of Tyson who's moving Tyson Foods, which is one of the biggest animal abusing companies,
Right.
toward, investing in plant-based products. And I think they're even launching like a plant-based
They are,
Protein,
yeah.
line.
Things are just changing in such a massive way. I mean,
But it was like back then it was weird, and so I'm feeling that in the beginning. And also when I moved to vegan about 11 years ago, that's when I sort of took on the abrasive, angry, stereotypical vegan persona.
Right.
And so it was sort of like Clash of the
And
Titans.
he was like, please
He's
stop.
like,
Yeah.
get the fuck away from me.
it was a fight. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
battle, because
Yeah, definitely.
we grew up actually really thinking, I didn't even know what a vegan was, but we grew up thinking that vegetarians were like bad people.
Yeah.
So
And you guys had a really interesting upbringing.
We had a weird upbringing.
Yeah.
We had a-
definitely
we had a
weird.
upbringing.
I mean, yeah. So when he does that, he's going against the grain in a massive way,
Yeah.
and I'm not having it. Sometimes our mom would just make a vegan meal for Phil. Like, hey guys, I'm making a vegan meal for Phil. Everyone accidentally eats vegan all the time.
Right.
But if she announces it,
Yeah.
this is vegan,
Yeah.
like spaghetti, right?
like something
Spaghetti's
changes.
spaghetti. It's usually
Yeah.
vegan, right? It's just marinara or something.
Yeah.
If she's like, hey guys, spaghetti for dinner, I'm like, give me all of it. Let's eat it.
Yeah.
But if she's like, hey guys, vegan meal for Phil, I would literally stand up, like scream, and then
people
leave
do
the
that.
house
Yeah.
and go to like Taco Bell or something.
That
They
was
get defensive.
That
Yeah.
part of your book where you mentioned that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, because I was just talking to them about going out to eat with some of my non-vegan friends, and I was like suggesting vegan restaurants, and they were so opposed to it.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, let's do this place so everyone can eat something. And it just made me think, like, how weird that you say it's vegan, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to eat at a vegan place just because it's called vegan. But like, they would eat a vegan meal and not know it, like the pasta.
Totally.
Like,
Oh,
you eat vegan
Oreos,
all the time.
whatever.
You don't
Exactly.
even think about it. But because you call it vegan, it's like all of a sudden like, no, I don't want that.
it's that
Yeah.
scary buzzword.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that there is a shift happening where that's becoming less and less
Right.
true,
Right.
and because vegan is becoming the cool thing.
It's
Yeah.
it's in the mainstream
Like,
now. It's in like
vodka is
vocabulary.
vegan.
Exactly.
How-
That's
it has
How
to be
easy?
cool.
How easy is that? How easy is that?
you got
Just have a drink.
Beyonce doing,
Yeah.
Beyonce
I mean,
doing
yeah,
it.
if Beyonce is like
Beyonce's
onto
doing it,
well,
yeah.
come on.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people using the term plant-based too. I've noticed that's more of like a marketing term that's used now,
It's like,
and that
I'm safe.
is kind of, I think, less like off-putting to people
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
than the V word.
Yeah, there can be. I mean, in the book we actually say like, listen, use whatever word you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't describe yourself in any way. We don't care. Like
Yeah.
it's all about like how you view the world and what you're doing. Like I don't care what
Exactly.
Call yourself
what label
vegan,
you put on it.
vegan, plant-based, vegetarian, like whatever the fuck you want.
But it is true that there can be. I mean, that's kind of where that plant-based came from, because there may have been some baggage that some
Yeah.
people, some of the stereotypes of the past,
Yeah.
kind of came out abrasively at some people, and they don't want to identify that way, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
So you were one of those people, you were an angry vegan?
I was an angry vegan. Yeah,
Really?
I was. But it was only for like probably just like a few months, and then I read.
Was that when you were first going vegan?
That was when I first went
Right.
vegan.
You
Yeah,
really
yeah.
kind of like
Happens, yeah.
hurt and just like.
Oh yeah, it's,
All of a
it's
sudden-
so
all-
easily defensive. You
Lied
forget.
to,
You
yeah.
forget that I was just
Yeah.
eating meat.
Yeah.
Like I guess I had stopped eating meat over the last few years, but like it's like I forgot that like I ever ate meat in my entire
Right.
life.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's easy to forget.
yeah, and it's like when I ate meat, it's not like I didn't care about animals. I
Yeah,
just either
right.
one, like I didn't know how they were treated, or two, it's like also when I first learned, I didn't just go vegan overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's very complex, and I think a lot of vegans need to be understanding of people who eat meat, because it's like there's social pressures.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
it's a very complex thing. I was an angry, abrasive, like stereotypical vegan for a few months, and sort of just being online, I started to get sucked down further down that path.
Right.
But eventually, I came across an article by a guy. He's like a veteran vegan activist, probably like for 2 decades or something. Matt Ball from Vegan Outreach.
Yeah.
He wrote an article called "A Meaningful Life," where he just sort of broke it down. Where he's like, we need to stop being angry. We need to be positive. We need to be
Right.
happy. We need to be people that other
People
like,
want to be.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
they
Other
look at
people
you and they're like,
wanna
oh,
be like.
there's something different about them. I want to like figure out what's going on, and then also not turn vegan eating into this like all or nothing proposition,
Yeah.
where
Right.
it's like either you're for us or you're against us. You have to go vegan 100% overnight. We need to be more understanding of other people and.
Yeah. I think people are so caught up in like the ego of themselves and like
Exactly.
being perfect and being pure and like they don't extend that compassion that they have to
That'll
the
preach.
animals to other people
preach.
or even themselves, you know?
Oh,
That's
totally.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand why new vegans are so angry though, because I felt that way when I
Oh,
first
yeah.
became
absolutely.
vegan, but,
Exactly.
You know, you have your blinders on because it's so much easier to live that way, especially in
It
our
is,
world. Like
yep.
to live with your blinders on, and when you allow them to be lifted, it's like you see all the cruelty and like all you see is it everywhere.
Yeah.
All
And
of a sudden, it's like all of a sudden you go, you've been eating meat your whole life, 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
All of a
never
sudden you
think
go
about it.
vegan, and then you look around and everyone's eating your friends 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, how do I negotiate this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you see like their skin everywhere, and
Oh
it's
my
just like
gosh,
every
yeah.
time
Oh,
you see
totally.
it, it just like
Yeah.
eats away at you
yeah.
every single day. So I think that happens to a lot of people when they first
Yeah.
go vegan.
Totally.
And then you kind of have to learn.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Live
part of
with it.
and it's part of the process. I mean, our goal is not to throw shade at anyone, because we're all on a journey of life, just
Right.
trying to figure stuff out. And we recognize that, like when you're coming into being vegan, you're faced with this full frontal assault, and part of that is part of the process. But if you keep focused on the goal, whatever your goal is, which for us is really like helping animals and reducing suffering as much as possible, if you keep focused on that goal, keep your eyes on the prize, life just sort of like it comes to you, and it reveals
And your
itself.
mindset.
Yeah,
your
your
mindset.
mindset-
Your mindset starts to shift, and before you know it, it's like you're just a totally different person. And,
Yeah.
And you're
everyone
attracting it in.
Everyone in your life is going vegan
Yeah,
left and right.
like
Yeah.
like our
our-
family,
He's
cousins,
vegan.
like
Really?
Yeah, our parents are vegan, cousins,
really? Oh,
aunts,
that's so
uncles, like
cool.
friends,
random friends that we grew up with,
acquaintances,
like former
people who-
roommates.
like
That,
our-
that was a huge thing for me because with my parents are both now vegan. My brother's vegan, like my whole family's vegan.
It's amazing.
But I never was like, you're gonna die because you're not vegan. I
Yeah.
wasn't like, you're a terrible person. What have you been
Exactly.
teaching me
Major
your
kid,
whole
yeah.
life? I was just like, if you want to know about it, Google it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Holy
very
shit, that's high
Maybe has a
level.
lot more self-control.
That's
I'm
high
kind
level
of-
shit
I get-
right there.
I get
That is
so
next
frustrated.
level.
I'm
Nobody-
kind of a dick. Like I was like, don't talk to me, mom and dad. You don't understand me. It worked. Like, and they Googled it, and one day they called me, and they're like, Niche, we're vegan. And I was
Oh
like,
my god.
and now they're super vegan. You
yeah.
know, when you first go
Introduce the
vegan, it's kind
idea.
of being like a vegan adolescent, and you're
Yeah.
like,
No, it
you're
is,
like,
yeah.
I hate the world, I hate myself, like
Yeah.
everything's
Sure.
wrong. But then as you go on your vegan journey, you're like, oh, it's not about me. Like
Yeah.
life isn't about me. It's about other things, about the animals. It's about them living in these tiny, tiny little crates, and it's not about you being like perfect and pure and healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And projecting perfect pure onto other people, because a
Yeah.
lot of times what we end up doing is it's counter to what we're actually trying to do, which is attract people in.
Right.
You end up kind of
Pushing
pushing them
them
away with shame and judgment and guilt. And when we actually get to this point where we start like exercising grace with everyone for
Right.
anything in our lives, what ends up happening is grace just gives people the freedom to become the best version of themselves.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
So
Good.
true. Yeah, that was
Powerful
so
shit.
well
Beautiful.
said. Wow.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Because I love that how you articulated. It's grace.
Yeah.
Something that so many religions teach.
Oh, totally.
It's all a uniting factor that grace given and will come back received.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think that, like, I mean, I also was very abrasive with my family members, people that I knew when I first went vegan, and I didn't get a good response at all. They're still not vegan.
Sure.
Yeah,
And I
it's-
can't
sure.
help but wonder if it was because I came on so strong about it in the beginning and, like, would literally be in tears to my mom. Like, why? How could you do this? You're a terrible person. And I think that kind of, like, pushed her even farther away than it would have if I would have just been like, this is what I'm doing, like you did.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I would love to know more about how you guys, like, how long it took your family to go vegan, and, like, was there anything you did?
And how did you transition from that like angry vegan like preaching to
Yeah.
that more?
So thankfully, I didn't have to transition as much,
He did
which
it
is
for you.
which is part of the interesting part. So yeah, he was extremely abrasive, and I was abrasive
you
back.
learned it.
So I actually went through a transformation of my own. Like in college, I lost 100 pounds.
That's
That
a-
sort of put me in this place. Yeah, thank you. It was. I mean, it was crazy, and a lot of people think like a transformation, like a physical transformation like that, it's all outside, but most of it is what's
Yeah.
going on inside.
It's like if you allow it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it took me on this journey of just like thinking about like being more open to life and what I could have been wrong about. At the same time, he's just becoming like a better person, a better communicator and less abrasive. And you know, it was like a perfect storm. And I was open
Yeah.
and he was like speaking properly at that time and basically he finally got me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he got me and then
What was the thing? What was it? Like an animal thing, or was it like one specific argument?
Yeah, do you remember like a click?
he would try to make me watch videos and I wouldn't. I refused to. And I would like block it out like no, that's not what's happening to animals because we grew up with dogs. Like that's in the book. Like I was an animal person. I identified that way.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I would do and what I think most people do is you block it out of your mind. No, that's not the reality. The animals can't be treated that way.
Yeah.
And when I went through this transformation, I just started to think about things that I was wrong about. And you know, he basically mentioned a documentary that he wanted to watch that was on HBO. And I was like one of those cool hipsters with HBO. So I'm like, whoa, there's a documentary on HBO. I want to watch that. He didn't even say like, dude, watch this. He was like, I want to watch this. And I'm like, I want to watch that.
Like I wish I could watch it.
You're like, oh, there's this cool indie film. You should go see it.
I mean, basically, that's
basically what it
basically what it was. And it was, and the indie film was called
It's
Death
only
on.
on HBO.
Mind ninja him.
And the
totally,
indie
exactly.
film was called Death on a Factory Farm.
Wow.
It was pretty brutal. It was
Sneaky. He got you to
was-
watch that. That's
Oh, for
insane.
sure. I got him, dude.
Yeah.
I got
That's
him.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did it just click right after that? You were like, no more?
So what happens is I watched that and it's an undercover investigation on a massive pig factory farm and it was really graphic for me. So all the routine ways their animals are treated is terrible, right? They're castrated without painkillers and they can't even move around. But this one specific scene is kind of like I'll carry her with me for the rest of my life. This mother pig was like, she's massive and her back legs are both broken. And these guys were like kicking her and spitting on her and stuff like that. And they're trying to kick her out of the barn. They get out of the barn and they have to knock her off of this 4-foot ledge. So she's just like suffering like crazy.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking, holy shit, this is like terrible enough. Then a forklift comes out.
Yeah.
So
I
they
think I've
so they
seen that
end up
video,
so
yeah.
they end up like this is one of the things that these guys specifically did on this factory farm is they would tie a chain around their neck and hang them and would kind of like laugh about it, make a joke about it, and I was like, holy shit, this is real. This is real.
You're
So
like,
I
hell is on earth.
I told him I was like holy crap, dude, like that blew my mind. And then he's like, watch this. So it was called Meet Your Meat.
Well,
and
then
it's
you
like
asked
Oh,
me.
yeah,
You
yeah.
asked
Right,
me. What's that video?
what's
you've
the other
been trying to get
video?
me to watch for like 3 years.
You're like, I need more info stat.
Yeah.
Like,
now I'm asking you about the video that you were trying to force me to watch.
Yeah.
That's
That's what
how
you
it
want to
works.
try to
That's
get
how
to.
it
You want to
works.
try to get to them asking
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
In the middle of watching that, which is like a 10-minute video narrated by Alec Baldwin. In the middle of it, Instant Messenger was still a thing at the
Yeah.
time.
It
So
was
that's how old we
Messenger.
are. But
I remember that. I was
I'm-
going to say.
yeah,
Definitely had that.
I messaged him in the middle of watching the video, and I said, I don't think I'm gonna be able to eat. Holy crap! I don't think I'm gonna be able to eat meat again.
And I was just
Wow.
And the crazy thing is, dude, when I said that, I did not think I was gonna be able to not eat meat.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
When I
didn't.
said I think I'm a vegan, I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take a
But
deep
it happens.
dig.
That's
And then I
how
just,
it
every
started.
time I would like even think about it, I was like, no, you can't. That was
can't
one thing I
unsee
also
it.
loved that you guys said, that you do think that everybody should watch some sort of video. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, because once you see the visuals, you can never get
That's
it out of
always
your
there.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned like the fishing trip in Puerto Rico. I
Oh,
actually had
yeah,
a
yeah.
very
Yeah, the
similar
same.
experience in
Yeah.
Hawaii that actually didn't make me go vegan, and same with you
Yeah,
guys,
same, yep.
but it kind of planted the seed. And I feel like so many people don't ever actually see the cruelty. They never see their food being killed, and then it kind of just like eliminates, like they don't have that
You
visual.
have
They
to
don't
think
even
about
think
it.
of it
You
as
have
an
to think
animal.
about it. Yeah.
They don't even
Yeah.
call it an animal.
Yeah. When you see the videos, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So how did you approach it though once you did kind of decide, okay, I want to give this a shot? Was it like, okay, I'm going to learn recipes, I'm going to watch YouTube videos for inspiration? Like, how did you go about the actual doing of it?
We're interesting. I mean, neither of us, like, we're in the kind of like the vegan, influencer world and stuff like that. And neither of us are cooks. And honestly, neither of us really care a ton
About food.
about that
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, we're not like.
So we're kind of in
foodies or
this
anything.
interesting space. I mean, which actually informs our approach that we cover in the book. We both went vegan in a small town in the Midwest, like an hour outside of Detroit. Like it's a borderline farm town basically.
Right.
And we could walk to the grocery store and go to the vegan section. That was
Yeah,
like
it was
that was like
11 years ago. 11 years
yeah,
ago, and it's like
11
it
years
was,
ago.
to us, and that's what I think. It's like all in like your attitude toward life. It's like if you have a positive mental attitude.
That's the key.
It's like to me, 11 years ago in a small town, eating vegan, it was easy. And that's what I projected to everyone around me too. So then when they're going, when he's going vegan, our parents go vegan, and then our friends and stuff start going vegan, they're not thinking like, oh, this is really hard. They're
Right.
thinking like, oh, I'm just hanging out. It's easy. We can go to this restaurant, that restaurant, that restaurant.
Right.
There's a veggie burger here. It's like no one. It's like it's just this vibe. It's
Yeah.
like you create the vibe, and it's
Yeah.
like
It's
everyone
totally-
around
it's
you
so
when they go
true.
vegan, they're
So true.
seeing the vibe that you created. It's weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's what happened.
You bring that
That's what
vegan
happened.
light.
Well, we had, I mean, it's crazy.
It's a
Like when we
crazy
go
thing.
back to our past, like I had this. I used to own gyms in Michigan, and I had this house, and we had an interesting group of roommates. A couple of our roommates were very much like the opposite of
Yeah.
of vegan. And we would just like we loved hanging out with everyone, and we would just go to any random restaurant they want to
Right.
and just hang out and always find something to get, just to kind of like show like it's easy, but we're also not talking about it. We're just hanging out with them,
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
whatever.
They're
So-
getting their like plate of like what do you call it? Bottomless wings.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And we're
depending
just-
on which night you go. Yeah, to Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like rice and salads.
No, they got a veggie burger. I don't
Yeah.
It's definitely easier and easier at a lot of those places to not even make people feel like there's anything, you're not ordering anything
Yeah.
weird or
Yeah, yeah.
anything like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of the cool thing. So the crazy thing is like one of those roommates, like I think he's vegan now.
Wow.
And like his
His
family
wife is vegan.
Yeah.
They've got a kid.
Sick.
And another thing he left out is like when he and our other friend, when they were our roommates, they ordered half of a cow and put it in the freezer. And we're
up.
vegan.
Straight up.
We're vegan as fuck.
And you're like,
And we're just we're just like we're hanging out.
Yeah.
And but fast forward.
That'd be hard.
But fast forward,
knows?
one of them is vegan. So
Wow.
now his wife.
No, yeah.
So it's like you're playing the long game there.
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
The people you freak out in front of aren't gonna go vegan.
Exactly,
Well, you're
exactly.
like, yeah, it's normal, whatever. You do you.
And it's
Yeah,
it's
oh,
also
exactly.
like it's like if you freaked out before, it's like forgive yourself.
Yeah, don't beat
and,
yourself up about
and
it.
forgive everyone
does
else
it.
and move forward, because we're
Right.
all on this journey of life figuring it out. So we've
Yeah.
all screwed up at different times, and we've screwed up on a bunch.
Yeah.
We
I don't
still
know what I'm
screw up.
doing at all, and I've been vegan for 4 years. And I'm just like, what is going on?
We're all just going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just working out.
Did you guys ever experience your friends making fun of you or kind of like making jokes, and how did you respond to that?
Well, I think you experienced me making fun of you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been
I-
wanting to talk about this for
I
a while
sort of,
now.
I sort of
Thank you for bringing it up.
it's been a long to me it's been a
all on
long
the
time
table.
to me it's been a
Let's do
long
it.
time. For me it was more back in the day getting made fun of, but it still wasn't like an all the time thing. But to me I feel like more nowadays it's almost like you can in a way take control of your environment, where people, rather than other people, they're controlling it and they're the ones making fun of you. It's like if you're in control, people are responding to you.
Yeah,
I feel that way too sometimes when my friends give me like are kind of shady about things. It's just like at first you want to minimize because you don't want to be that vegan who's difficult or causing asking a zillion questions at the restaurant. You're just trying to be cool and show how cool it can be, but at the same time you have to own it and be proud
Exactly.
of it.
And it's like, if someone makes fun of you, when someone makes fun of us, if you make fun of yourself like 10 times harder,
Yeah.
that's how you
Exactly.
win. That's how you win.
Self-deprecation is
And they'll
powerful.
love it, and they'll go
Yeah,
vegan after that
right.
too.
Yeah.
Right?
When it comes from the outside, then you end up just projecting an insecurity.
Right.
Because we all have insecurities.
Yeah.
First of all, when we can just own up to our insecurities, at least to ourselves, a lot of times that's just empowering in and of itself.
Right.
You become more
And-
confident just because of that.
And if you can identify all of the amazing things, amazing ways that you feel about yourself based on the decisions that you're making in your life, like think about how that can make you feel when you're in
Yeah.
social situations and around people where you're unsure. Because we carry this vibe of, I mean, it's true. In this world, when people see this book, they lose it and they love it. And we really realized it along the way. The path to this book title actually started as just a meme.
Right.
Which just said vodka's vegan and people flipped out about
Yeah.
it, which is indicative of just where we're at. People want a reason. People want a reason to be attracted into that. And we feel like what we're doing with the book and what you guys are doing is really bridging the cultural divide
Yeah.
and taking it out of like where there's these sides. Like, oh, either you're on this side or you're on this side. It's like, no, dude, we're all just,
hanging out.
we're all on a journey of life just trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think we have a lot more in common than not.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So what was your big inspiration in writing this book? Like, who were you trying to help, and like what were you trying to get people to know at the end of reading the book?
We feel like we're bridging the cultural divide. There's been stereotypes of the
Yeah.
past, right? And some of those have created like negative associations from meat eaters and also, vegans. Some people go vegan and they have this feeling like, oh, I need to become
That's the
this
stereotype.
type of
That was-
person.
yeah.
Becoming,
Exactly. I feel
become
like
the
everyone does
stereotype.
that.
That's
You're like,
like
I gotta eat fruit
I was
now.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, I have to grow my hair out. I have to go to the beach all the time. But yeah, you can't change yourself. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Whether people always write to us, they're like, I'm a bad advocate because I'm not skinny enough. My hair or my skin isn't good. It's like that doesn't matter.
Actually, you're the
Exactly.
best.
Exactly.
You are the
Exactly.
best, whatever you want to call it, advocate. You're the best advocate
Yeah.
because you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
The more we're all just being ourselves and appreciate ourselves and appreciate others, I mean, that's what it's
It's
about.
just becoming a good person and liking yourself.
It
It
really
is. And then everything else outside just starts
Just
working.
comes to you.
Yeah.
The book is really written. I mean, it's written for vegans and non-vegans alike, and I feel like it's unique in the sense that a vegan can read it, a non-vegan can read it, and really they're both gonna get different things out of it because it's gonna speak to them a different way, which is indicative of our approach. I mean,
Yeah.
he spent time in the trenches as an activist for years. And then I came to it more from like an entrepreneurial perspective. So like I think we have a unique perspective in the book.
Yeah.
And-
It definitely, like, the tone of voice is
It's
like
fun.
having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it's
like
just
We
bits
like
of
that.
sarcasm,
We like
which I
that.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
a
was
good read.
laughing in
It's
parts
literally
of
like
it.
Yeah.
having a conversation with you right now. Like, that's what it feels
good.
like.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We love
good
hearing that
feedback.
because I think that's what we wanted too.
What was
So-
the writing process like though? Was like, okay, you're gonna do this chapter, I'm gonna do this chapter, or were you literally side by side like writing?
Oh, yeah.
How does that work?
We use this app called Voxer.
Okay, yeah.
Which is basically like it's a walkie-talkie thing. I mean, we've written tons of the book that way, just boxering back and forth with each other.
funny.
Also, when we're actually writing, we use Google Docs, and we would just write in different colors depending on the chapter we were on,
okay.
and it would
Thank
just
you for
kind of
that.
like edit together.
But also, when we wrote the book, we wanted, for inspirational purposes,
Yeah.
we don't just want to be, in what we consider like the vegan bubble. Like we don't just we live in LA and we love big cities. But like when we're writing the book, we wanted to get out of that and we wanted to
You want someone in like middle America to see
Exactly.
this and be
Yeah.
like,
There you go.
that's sick.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm
that.
gonna buy it.
So where
that's
did
what
we
we
go?
did.
Where did we go when we wrote the book? We went to Springfield, Missouri, which is just like this tiny
wow.
town in Missouri. It's
It's
like
the
it's
biggest-
the big city for like 100 or 200 miles. But it's like this just town, like tiny town.
And you went and wrote there?
We just went and we
Yeah.
wrote the book there.
That's
and yeah, to us, it's just like that's indicative of what we're trying to do. Like we're not just trying to reach vegans, or we're not even just trying to reach people that are on the fence thinking about going vegan. Like we're going to the people that everyone in the vegan community, in the vegan movement, has written off.
That's
Right.
another.
There's
That's
no hope
another
for
big
those
point.
people.
That's a
And
big
we've
point,
also
yeah.
found that the people that are that most vegans view as being the furthest away from going vegan, those are the easiest people to reach because they expect vegans to be the biggest piles
We
of
talked
shit
about this.
in the world. Whereas even if you're a tiny pile of shit, they'll be like, "Oh my god,
You're so
you're not
that
bad.
bad."
You can make so many mistakes and they're just like so forgiving."
Yeah,
It's
you just have
crazy.
to turn your like asshole down just a little bit. And they're
That's all
like,
you have to do.
wow, nice.
These people have literally been blocked. I mean, in many ways, like they've been blocked from being allowed to go vegan. because like for a period of time it was necessary. When you're a small movement trying to get a foothold, it is important to focus on your strengths, focus on people that you can focus on people that you can bring in. But when you get to the point where it's becoming pervasive in every aspect of society, now we're at this point where like we should be like inviting everyone in. And
religions,
these people, people that you think are the ones that aren't going to do it, they are waiting for you to just say like, dude, come on, like let's do this.
Let's do a shot.
And they're like, all right, let's do it. They're ready.
No, I love like your guys' whole vibe is just like, I don't know, so much more relaxed than like a lot of people who are trying to spread veganism, which was like really comforting to me when I started reading it, and I think that that's like gonna be really attractive to a lot of people who pick up your book.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna say like it really is for everybody, which it was surprising to me because when I started reading, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna know most of this stuff because I'm already vegan. No, because I found it super comforting to be like, you know what, it is okay. Like we can simmer the F down. Like we can just relax. Like there's a part where you talk about like if you accidentally mess up, you eat something not vegan, that doesn't mean you're not a vegan anymore. Like you didn't mean to eat it.
You didn't lose your vegan.
Yeah, I think we get a lot of subscribers that worry that like they're not vegan because they didn't shop at an only vegan fashion place, or like they have a car with leather seats, or like all these things.
Or they're
it's
like French fries touched a chicken wing.
Or I have people that are like, I don't want to go to that restaurant because they serve meat. You're excluding so many people from going vegan by doing that or thinking that.
Right.
And it's like non-vegans, they need to see us like it's like we need to be able to assimilate into our society because it like break the walls down with non-vegans so they can see like, oh, I can still do all the things that I normally do. I can still go to this restaurant. I just have to order this and not that.
So people have accused us of like bringing down the divide or the line. It's like, yes, that's absolutely what we're doing. We are trying to blur the line so much that you're just like, well, I guess I'm probably that way anyways. Like, let's do this.
And even if people like meat just like one less time a week because of you guys, like that's so many animal life saves. That's so much better for their own health. I always say that good is not the enemy of great, and I feel like it's so cool that you guys are really advocating for people just trying it out and trying their best and like not judging them for not being perfect. That's so helpful.
Yeah, and that's backed up by scientific research. Like that's what's known as the foot in the door technique, where it's like someone takes one small step toward a larger end goal. If you just ask them to go to the end goal right now, they're like a million times less likely to do it. But if you ask them to just take one step, and then you come back to them, like a month later or 2 months later, or you just let them do it on their own. Like one first step, they're a million times more likely to just say yes to that. Which, in and of itself, just doing that saves a fuck ton of animals. But then combine that with the fact that they're going to go further because they took that first step. It's like it's just insane.
And the way that we're handling it when they're doing that. So like we talk in the book about literally flipping the fuck out when you have a friend who just tries. If it's perceived that they made any little move,
That's true.
like flip out and make it the biggest thing ever, and don't pile on. Do not pile on. Just encourage them to keep going and figure it out. And if they're asking for stuff, answer the question.
That's great advice.
So
I've had a friend say like, I'm eating less dairy and eggs, and I didn't know how to respond. I was like, should I be like, oh, yes, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's what I felt inside. But then I was like, I don't want to be overbearing. So I was like, oh, cool, yeah. Do you feel
I feel
better?
like that's what I usually do. I'm like,
but it's true. Like we want to feel good. Like we want to feel like we're doing something good. And we want to feel like
encourage. It's like well, when you potty train, I'm a nanny.
I know. I literally think of dogs when you cheer for them.
dogs.
Oh well, I was thinking of children, but dogs. When you potty train a kid, like the littlest step they take to being like independent, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so great, you're so grown up. My gosh, we're like the same person. You're a big kid like me.
Exactly.
That works just like that.
Yeah.
It works for babies and it works for adults.
Yeah.
It's the same. It is the same.
Let's come over to your house and train kids.
I had just read that recently, and or heard it somewhere, and we used that on a podcast recently. Yeah. So I really
that's
like
awesome.
it.
I felt weird about that.
You heard it here.
I know. I'm like, I don't have kids, but I think this makes sense.
Yeah, no,
it's
dogs
true.
too. Like you're supposed to like whenever they go potty outside, you're supposed to like go crazy.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And like make a bunch of noise, and that's the best kind of training you can do.
Yeah.
And it's counter, dude. We're like the way we're raised and like in society is like we're taught that there's not enough to go around of anything, feelings or whatever, and so we're all trying to figure out like how much can I appreciate that person? Are they gonna appreciate me back enough?
Yeah.
And it's really like we just got into this place where like we just enjoy we're just like enjoying
Enjoy
life.
giving.
And so like if we can give anything to anyone, we want to over deliver as much as possible.
Same.
And it's just like
It has nothing
spreading
to do-
joy. That does not exactly sound like a bad thing to do.
It costs nothing to be kind.
And it helps
Yeah.
you.
yeah,
And it's
and you're gonna feel
contagious.
good.
Exactly.
Like I was
my God,
leaving
it's so
Starbucks
contagious.
this morning and I had the big traveler and I was by myself. I had my hands full and this woman stopped me. She was waiting for a coffee. She stopped me and she was like, "Do you want me to help you carry that to your car?" And I was
Aw.
like, "That was so nice of
Yeah.
you. You're sitting here waiting for your coffee. You probably
Yeah.
want to get that ASAP and get out of here, but you offered to like walk me to my car." And I just thought I should do that next time I see somebody like
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
like their arms full. So it made me think like I should do that. It
love
really
that.
is
Totally.
contagious.
Oh, totally.
And the hate, just let the hate roll off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Roll off.
Because you never know what someone else is going through too.
But that energy probably attracts a lot of people, especially now that you have the book, and they're probably coming to you asking like, okay, I want to try this out. So what advice do you give to people when they come to you with that?
I guess the first thing is don't view it as like this all or nothing proposition. So it's not like either you're either where you're at now or you're 100% vegan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of middle ground, and you can either start off by maybe going vegan one meal a week, one day a week. Like you can do as little or as much as you want. But yeah, we always advocate like don't go all in. Like if you really want to,
No,
if
yeah.
you really want to do it.
A key point is we actually like a lot of people just feel so overwhelmed with the idea. So we like the idea of not making them feel like they're really switching anything.
Yeah.
And really keeping their plate. Like most people eat pretty boring. They eat the same stuff
Yeah.
for the most part. You know,
We
during
eat the same
during
like,
the week.
5 meals, I think.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
So rather than trying and listen, I think that the elaborate ways that like the gourmet cuisine that is vegan now is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But the reality is most people don't cook like that. Most people aren't eating like that
Yeah.
on a daily basis. And so it can also be a little bit intimidating. But if we make it so their plate looks exactly the same. Say they're eating chicken breast, broccoli, and rice, which a lot of people eat, like just go buy some Guardian chicken scallopini because
Right.
am I saying you should eat that every meal? No, but dude, I want to make the barrier to entry as low as possible.
Exactly.
And I want you to feel like you're not even changing anything.
Yeah.
So that's definitely
You
part
don't
of it.
want to lose yourself when you're going vegan. You just want to eat less animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Breaking
Yeah.
it
Broke that
down.
down so
Breaking
much.
it down.
Yeah.
Do you need a co-author?
I feel like another thing that's important is just like keeping focus on like why are you doing it? Because there's a reason why, and I think most people are opposed to animal abuse, so that's probably part of it. But if it's like health, maybe you want to lose weight,
Right.
maybe you really care about the environment, just staying focused on why you're doing it, and that way, if like you're ever in a scenario where maybe it's like you want to, I don't know, make a mistake or give up or whatever, it's like you remember.
And that's really why we don't want to push people. You want to attract them in because if you attract people in, they're gonna find their path on their own, and
Yeah.
it's actually their path. It's what they want to do.
It's not going to be who you want them to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're gonna own it.
So is there any way that our viewers can get in touch with you, keep in tabs of like where they can get the book or where they can just talk to you?
So you can get the book at book.veganbros.com as well as anywhere books are sold, so from Amazon all the way to independent.
It's gonna be
independent
everywhere.
bookstores. And
Oh,
we're Vegan Bros on Instagram and Vegan Bros on Facebook, and we also got our YouTube videos as well.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the Vegan Bros for being on the Vegan View today. Again, check out their Instagram and YouTube channel. We'll have everything linked in the description box down below, as well as where to buy their book. And we will see you guys next week here on the Vegan View. Bye.
Bye.